Well, boys and girls, it's a have a chat time. You know how it is occasionally. The question in the community these days is, why did you start a YouTube channel? Well, mine's simple and old school. I started because I wanted to communicate. Back in the day, many, many years ago, I started watching Dr. Cranky. I watched, crap, what was his name? Yeah, it'll come to me. Chevy Cheeseburger, another guy, Kel Gaither. I was watching that whole group. And occasionally, I would get on, and then I would, it was like, okay. So they started doing the Hangout, and I was like, well, I want to get in on the Hangout. So getting in on the Hangout is, you had to be on a YouTube channel. Because we were using a YouTube chat platform, which they should bring back if they were smart. So that's why I started. And then it became about the friendship and the camaraderie. Like I said, I met these people. There's like Mad Joe Genius. He and I communicate all the time. Brian from BG's Customs. Brian from Mini War Mutt. My quote unquote, arch nemesis that everybody used to get on about, who and I are really good talking now all the time. You guys just, and like I said, it's all about communication, and nowadays we don't even have communication anymore, so, which is good in a way. But Hunter and I talk all the time. And then there's, like I said, Kel Gaither, Fred Henry, Gil from Gilmon Dragon. Who else do we got? Like I said, Chevy Cheeseburger, those guys. Used to be funny. People used to watch, I'd be watching the videos or whatever. People were like, oh, who are all these guys from the South? I went, oh, they're all modeling guys that I hang out with them on the weekends on YouTube, and could expand my influence or sphere of influence. So that helped me get better, and when getting back in the hobby, it helped me get better by communicating with these guys. I won't call it the good old days, because one, we're not that old and it's not that far back, but it feels like forever. But those were the good old days when you could just communicate. There was no politics involved. You didn't have to listen about right, the left, anything. It was literally just about models. Some days I really wish we could just go back to being just about models. But anyway, it made me do things that I normally wouldn't have done. I was primarily a military modeler before, and then I got back in the hobby with cars because models are so expensive. Car models are cheap. Well, until you start building some of the models I build or have built, and then you're like, oh, why are these 100 and this is whatever? But then you see the same quality, it's like, well, they're just pressing it. Why can't we get that and make that same quality and fit from a North American manufacturer? Just saying, boys. Made in the USA, quote. It's not always what it used to be. Now, especially with models. It's usually anything left in the USA is just stuff that they wouldn't bother taking over to China to pay for the shipping. So, I never get too excited when I see that that's going to be a made in America model. JR Sabino, that's a different story because they're a new manufacturer. And I have a couple of them. They're pretty cool. Well printed, and when they make mistakes, they fix it, which is amazing. Oh, that's just wrong. Charlie Mack, another guy that I met, and Jeb. Everybody. And then later on in my life, some things happened, and YouTube actually was part of my healing process, or is part of my healing process. It's because I at least know people out there, some people care. You know, there are people out there who do care for you. Random people. You know, 90% of us are never going to meet half the people we meet on YouTube. So, again, YouTube channel. That's why you started. Communication outside of your small little niche. Talk to the armor guys. Talk to the car guys. If it's about politics, talk to the left, talk to the right. Walk outside your box. Honestly, walk outside that simple little box of 5 or 6 modelers hanging out in a room. Go hang out in another room. Listen to some other details and opinions on how to build things. Like, I just did research on J.R. Silvino kits, the new ones. And I saw 3 different ways to build it. A couple of days ago, J.R. Salvinos puts up a new video about the new Chase Elliott for 2023 because they put new decals out. Lo and behold, they changed their instructions because they listened to Clay Kemp how to make it better. Most manufacturers don't do that. Then, you know, reprint their instructions. You just deal with it. There might be a little amendum sheet inside. But then again, J.R. Salvino's is very small. And it's not like they're printing 500,000 or whatever kits. 5,000 at a time. I don't know what it is. But they are what they are. They're small and they can do that stuff. But it's good. And it's a great example that the big guys should take. You know what? You got what you got out there. But in the next run, fix the printing on the instructions. And I'm pretty sure all of us that have ever built anything from Dragon wish they would do that. Another thing that kept me on YouTube, besides, you know, camaraderie, friendships, grieving process, the other thing is, now it's about hoping you can find and inspire other people to build. I mean, I don't look my age. But it's funny when people ask me, what do you do? You know, when I said I stayed home and did my hobby. And they go, oh, what's your hobby? They usually say really cool. And then they want to come up and see it. And then they go, that's really cool. And I say, do you want one? And it's like, sure. And I hand them an unbuilt one. And they go, what am I supposed to do with that? I said, well, you want it, build it. And then they're like, oh, I don't have time for that. We all have time. But I do agree, sometimes we don't have as much time as we want, hence I'm doing some of the things I'm doing. And you know what? Just looked at the time on my video. To my friends, come pie. Be safe. Talk to you later.